presentation, you spoke to some of the barriers, and one that particularly appealed to me was
I'm sorry, sir. I'm having a little difficulty in hearing you. Could you please speak into the microphone a little bit more? Thank you so much.
In your presentation, one of the barriers to, because I think not everybody here can attest to the fact that technology is never the problem.
Right.
The problem typically is people. And one of the things you mentioned in your presentation was the cultural barrier. And what I was interested in is tapping your brain on some of the perspectives you have as to how you can address that cultural barrier and how you can overcome that. Because I think that that is one of the biggest problems that you have. Even if you look at stuff like global warming, it's getting people to understand it and change the norm, change what they're used to really affect the change. So what I'm interested in finding out is kind of your perspective on how do you go about effecting that kind of cultural change, because that I think is a major part of making a lot of this thing, a lot of the things that you're talking about happen.
Thank you, sir. I wish I had a clear, straightforward answer for you, because that is one of the great challenges, as you rightly say, one of the great challenges that we have. I think it goes two ways. One way, of course, is to be able to portray these issues and explain them in a way that are comprehensible by the average citizen. And we have a tremendous amount of responsibility in that respect. And of course, the media companies in our countries have a good amount of burden in terms of addressing these issues in a way that is clear, understandable, straightforward, and that helps create that understanding. I also think we have a lot to go, a long way to go in terms of the political class within our countries and our regions understanding these issues. With respect to ICT, sometimes I almost feel it's a generational issue. You know, I mean, okay, enough said. But there is also a lot that I think that we have to go about in terms of packaging this in a way which is therefore much more attractive for those that are in the world of politics and in the world of policy. And you know, that has several ways of going about it. And it all has to be translated, I guess, if one can, into what it means in terms of electoral results. And I think that there are ways of packaging this where one can show to those that are taking the decisions that this does have a positive effect on those electoral results, which is one of the main driving forces of many people who are in the world of politics.
Well, just one thing. I can understand the aspect of selling it to your politicians and packaging it the right way, but how do you get the people to also make those cultural adjustments?
How do you get, pardon me?
The people.
Ah.
You know, the citizens to accept those changes.
Yeah, with a tremendous amount of perseverance and explaining the issues. I think that what we're talking about are very sensible, down-to-earth, very concrete things that have a lot to do with impacting in a positive way better livelihoods. And I think that creating effective partnerships with NGOs and civil society is one way to go about that mission, which is, as I recognize, and you rightfully state, very, very hard. But I would like to open it up to more of a debate. We have several ministers sitting around the table. I'd like to hear from them. La señora ministra de Colombia, el señor ministro Costa Rica, el señor ministro Perú. They're all here. They should be able to share with us what their experiences have been in getting people to understand these issues.
Thank you very much. Minister of Government Grenada. First of all, allow me to congratulate you former president of Costa Rica, and a very insightful presentation. If I may just premise my interjection by beginning with commenting on the question put forward by my friend from Jamaica. I believe that ultimately once the population or the populace realize that they are the beneficiaries of the implementation of ICT, I think it will be easier to sell. Once they can appreciate that they can stay at home and pay their driver's license, and they can really benefit from the implementation of different policies on e-government, I think we can be able to convince them. Mr. Ex-President, with regards to the global economic crisis and the fact that we are coming from very small and fragile economies, and coming from a background as well where we are way behind the more developed world in terms of implementing e-government, how do you think the current global economic crisis will impact, if at all, the implementation of progress to e-government in Latin America and the Caribbean? And if there are any challenges that you can that you foresee, how do you think we can overcome those challenges with regards to the present global economic crisis?
Well, I think the impact of the crisis will force all countries to re-look at their financial figures, reallocate resources, and see where they can save. I don't think that there is one country that is going to be able to pass under the radar screen from the fallout of the economic crisis. And as a result of that, of course, you will see a tremendous amount of pressure on all programs that require expenditure. I think the antidote to that, or the way to be able to fight it, is precisely to show that there are very, very, very few investments. When we're talking about development and livelihoods of our people, and when we're talking about competitiveness and being part of the global economy, there are very, very few investments that are more productive or that yield a higher rate of return than investing in ICT. And what we have to do is crank out the numbers to show that as very clear evidence of what we're investing, and therefore the need to not cut these programs.